Hey y'all, what's up? Happy Pisces season. So we are at the close out of the astrological year. And here we have the 12th house Pisces or ending winter. And we're going through the change from the winter time to the springtime. And what that means for us internally is this is the place now that we can go to process our endings. And when you first started out a process, right, you know you wanted to create it because you valued it, because you loved it. You learned about it through the environment. You nurtured it. You set up a foundation. You expressed it and created it. You went in to do the work, okay, for that thing, right, to make it perfect. Then you went into the outside world to find partnerships that you could relate to. Transform. I gotta write that back in there. Transform those experiences so that you could have a higher aim and by way of learning more, experiencing more, okay, and realizing this thing that you created way back here actually come to fruition, right? But once you've done that, you got to structure it and build it so that it can be here for a long time, right? We want the things that we build to be here for a long time. We want to set up the hopes and the wishes for what we've created along with the people who helped us on our journey. And finally, we end with how we feel. Okay, that was the whole process of how our mental psyche goes through the creative steps. Now here we are at the 12th step, right? Things are over. Now we can see more, which is where we visit the god of the sea, Neptune, right? Because way back over here when I was in springtime, right, I didn't know what this thing was going to turn out to be, right? But I went through all the processes, and now I'm here at the winter where I've become a winner, right? And I've realized what I've created, made, and become solidified. So now, how do you feel, okay? Now that you can see everything, which is what this guy reminds us to do, okay? Was this process everything you dreamed it would be? Did you hate it, right? Or were you kind of flexible with how you felt about it, right? Maybe the process was everything that you dreamed of it to be, but you also hated the experience along the way, right? It can be a very confusing times when we process our endings, okay? Which is indicative of the fish swimming in two opposite directions, okay? My homeboy calls this straight jacket season, right? But shout out to the Pisces people. If you already know if you're a Pisces. Let me put this down real quick. But you already know if you're a Pisces, okay? Because if you're a Pisces, endings, how you feel, the emotions, your intuition, things like that come up with you naturally so that you can process day-to-day experiences. These people, shout out to my cousin, he a Pisces. He can always see the ending way before the beginning, right? But sometimes, in life, as you go through these experiences, you have to trust the process, and where it ends up will ultimately be where it needs to be. But here we have the option just by way of the process, because every door closes, right, another one opens. So as we close out now, with the clarity that we have of the veil being lifted, right, we can see. And like I said, I was saying this earlier in another video. Whenever this house comes up, because it's dreams and illusions and the unknown and the occult, right, a lot of fantasy world can be played out here as well, right? But think about the ending too, right? Whenever you come out of a movie or something like that, have you ever visualize yourself as one of the characters, right? Now that the movie's over, right, what would you do as that person? I had this guy that I was dating at the time when Bad Boys 2 came out. They got all the car chasing scenes and stuff like that in the movie. So this fool pulling out the driveway, boy, you ain't know, we used to chill. He was just driving like a goofball. But he was really influenced, I imagine, by the movie, right? Every time he hit a red light, he was like, I want green. I'm like, this fool, let me get out the car with him, okay? Needless to say, I was tripping at it. But now that I'm a little bit more experienced about life, I can understand that whenever you go into an ending, okay, it makes you feel a certain way, all right? You can interpret those feelings internally, right? But whatever you're doing, you're ultimately feeling, okay? You have a feeling or emotion, okay? And that emotion will help you to give birth to the things that you would create at the next go round at the next cycle. Also, in the 12th house, you got Jupiter. Jupiter here with the bow and the arrow, okay? So endings a lot of times will require us to decide what we want to experience the next go round, right? Or just help us process what this experience was like, period, okay? For instance, if you had a great time, maybe I'll go on that trip again, all right? If it sucked, okay, if the Airbnb one, you know what I'm saying, then I will likely not want to sign up for that experience again, right? But ultimately, like the fish being represented here, let me go back into the fish, right? Whatever it was that I experienced, it's a part of me now, right? I went through something, right? In the end, I could see something based off what I went through, okay? And just like the fish attached to each other, swim in opposite directions, right? Maybe you swim away from an experience like, I don't never want to do that again. But it's still a part of you. It's still something that you went through, okay? So it's always going to be connected to you in that way. Real quick, the mythology too on Pisces, you got Eros represented as one fish and his mother Aphrodite represented as a second fish. And they was going to get consumed by a sea monster by the name of Typhoon, right? And sometimes when you end things, especially like if something's ended abruptly, I lost one of my cousins this year, and it was so sudden, and it was like, whoa, right? And I think the family, for the most part, is doing okay, but it's still something that we weren't expecting. She's the same age as me. Real crazy. It was like a typhoon of feelings, right? You don't kind of know what to do with all that emotion, especially when things end. It's kind of shocking, right? Maybe it was unknown to you that things were coming to an end. And you have a difficult time processing that, right? Think about, and a lot of times when think about the people that we, have left us, we think about the experiences that we had with those people, right? I think about those things that me and my cousin did when we were girls. And that gives you comfort, right? So Zeus, the god of experience, here in the end was there to save Aphrodite and Eros from all of the feelings or the emotions of the sea monster Typhoon that was about to consume them, right? Grief is a consuming feeling. Thank God I'm spiritual. I appreciate it all the time, because grief is something that's very hard and difficult for you to get through, right? If a relationship is ended, sometimes they can send us into a depression. So many things, right? And knowing how to process things in the end, that's required, right? You have to learn how to process things in a healthy way. I hear too many stories about somebody saying that one person was about to leave the relationship, and then that person didn't even get a chance to make it to their tomorrow because the person felt like they couldn't leave them and they decided to take their life, Just craziness, right? But endings, regardless if you're prepared for them or not, they are just a part of life, okay? It's a part of our life's process. And this 12th house is necessary with its principles to help us to understand where we go to in the next cycle, right? Don't worry about if that one fish swim away. It's plenty of fishes in the sea, okay? And it's just a reminder to us that although that experience is attached to us, right? We're tethered together by that cord of the fish, right? We still have the option to swim away, okay? And that's granted, and that's a possibility for us because we're living life pretty much, right? But sometimes, like I said, if you don't understand principles, if you have a hard time processing your emotions in the end, right? Look at the 12th house, right? I think the world would do better if they looked at endings in a healthier way so that we could understand that experience was just there to teach us, show us, help us grow, right? That's what Jupiter is all about. Experience, wisdom, and growth, right? Because you went through something, now you know, okay? So with Pisces, you got Jupiter, Neptune here co-ruling this house, right? But what I love about Jupiter's energy, along with Neptune, right? Because again, you can see more in the end. But with Jupiter's energy, now that you have seen everything, you come full circle with this thing, now I can decide where I want to make my next aim, okay? What I want to go to create next, right? So it's a cool energy. Now, before we also exit Pisces, let's talk about this opposite energy, Virgo. Okay, shout out to the Virgos. I'm a Virgo sign. Virgo's about work, right? So we got the things that we're dreaming about, right? We also have the things that we are working towards, okay? And a lot of times we are working towards our dreams, okay? The work that you did, right? Ultimately, did it help to service what came out in the end, okay? So with the Virgo full moon that we're about to experience, that we're going through, right? This is just a reminder of our actions of going towards our dreams and reacting towards the work that we got to do to get there, right? If you want to be a singer, okay, you need to be singing. You need to be around some folks that can sing, okay? You need to be pulling from the bottom, all right, of your experiences. Anything that reminds you of a beautiful song or helps you practice or getting with people who do the same things as you, right? Because that's going to work towards your dream, all right? And we all hope to have our dreams realized in the end, right? We would love to experience the growth, right, of where we set our aims to work towards and be realized in our dreams like a dream come true, right? Sometimes we do a whole lot of work, right? And it can take away from our dreams, okay? So this is also a good time to remember that, yes, you gotta work, right? But also think about your dreams, okay? Don't never let work kill your dreams. Shout out to Kanye. Kanye was one of those guys that I always admired because, he had some adversities, right? He's not a gangster rapper coming up in the game, right? But he never let what was going on or what was working for the industry at that time deter him from his dream, okay? He didn't fold like that. And that's important in life to remember that, right? Never let the things that are working or the systems that are in routines, all right, take you away from the dreams that you have, okay? I know the world sucks, okay? I mean, there's a lot of beautiful things about the world. Like, there's beautiful people, places to go, all those things. But there's a lot of things about life that just suck, period, right? But don't let those routines get you down and get you away from the things that you are dreaming of, all right? Also, okay, with the realization that there is work to be done when it comes to your dreams, right? Yeah, put a little bit of that work in, right? Put a little bit of the things that you will routinely set up yourself to do, that would service, okay, and be of health to the things that you dream about, okay? So that you don't get completely lost in escapism, right? I'm a Virgo sun, so I know all about that, okay? If I ain't working, child, I'm daydreaming, period, okay? But I'm a Cancer rising too, so that could be that as well. But anywho, ultimately, right, this season is a great time for us to process the end, okay? The end. And here's the thing. If you were in a relationship that wasn't working out, right, maybe that job didn't work out, or maybe that person wasn't who they quite, you thought it would be, it's okay. It's all right. It's fine to process those things that are ending in a healthy way, okay? But you never want to get too stuck in the end, all right? You never want to get too stuck on the ending, okay? Because this is a process, right? This is a 12-step process from what we wanted to create based off the things that we valued and what we did to learn and communicate to attain the knowledge so that it can help us grow and support our foundation. We ultimately just go hard at expressing it and creating it, right? So that we can reform, refine, and make it efficient. Damn near make it perfect, right? Because now that I've made this thing perfect from what I created, right, I can go in, find partners that will I can deal with the long way, right? And whatever we're doing now that I have a partner with me, okay, we're able to transform and go deep because we're very unique people. We got unique awarenesses, right? And this transformation of how I thought things would be at the beginning, right, will lead us to growth, higher learning, being able to go further distances with the things that we're creating, right? Which will ultimately solidify towards the work that we do, okay? And set up our hopes and wishes for the future with the people who helped us along the way, right? Because we didn't get here by ourselves, child, okay? Shout out to those associates, okay? We need them. And ultimately leave us to our end, right? And sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to yesterday, okay? But it's all right because you got tomorrow, all right? And although the promise of tomorrow isn't here, right? Just think about the experiences, okay? I walked life with a lot of groovy people, right? And I'm appreciative of those experiences because they have helped me, okay, become who I am today, right? Now, not all of those experiences were great, child. I cried, I lied, I had to be redeemed, okay? I went through a whole lot of things on my journey to be me, right? But ultimately, all those experiences are still tethered to me, okay? And in the end, I'm here, okay? In the end, I'm realized that I can see so much more about who I am through the experiences that I have had, right? All things 12th house, okay? So as we go through this season, I hope that it's magical for you. I hope that you guys are enjoying it, okay? Shout out, okay? So let me know where you got Pisces at. Personally, I have Pisces in my 10th house is my midhaven, okay? So I'm thinking about all things work for me, right? But you may have it in either one of these houses, okay? But wherever you experience it, just know that this experience is a part of the process to ultimately see. And this is it. I'm out. Bye.